this video, I'm going to go over drafting an outline. I am going to review two kinds of outlines that might help you for the outline assignment and help you draft an outline for your They Say essay. So the first option is the linear outline. This is the one where you use Roman numerals to divide and organize your ideas. And this is the one that most of us are familiar with, where you have Roman numeral 1, and then you have your introduction. Roman numeral 2 will be one reason that you discuss. Roman numeral 3 will be another reason, and then Roman numeral 4 another reason, and then you would have a Roman numeral 5 with your conclusion. So for this kind of outline, in your introduction, you would write a few sentences or phrases. You can be short in outlines. They don't have to be complete sentences, where you talk about what kind of background information you're going to offer regarding your topic. How are you going to grab your audience's attention with the general details that you include in your introduction? And then make sure that you do draft your thesis statement here. And when you watched the previous video on thesis statement writing, you learned how a thesis statement serves as a guide for the writer and the reader. And by guide, I mean the thesis statement is a map that tells your reader, these are the ideas I am going to cover in my essay, and these are the ideas that help support my main argument. So when you start thinking about what major reasons you're going to discuss in your essay, all those major reasons should somehow connect back to your thesis statement. So when you start drafting Roman numeral 2, Roman numeral 3, Roman numeral 4, all those paragraphs are basically going to follow a similar formula. And I say when you start writing these body paragraphs, you shouldn't include quotes as the first sentence of those paragraphs. You have a major reason that addresses the thesis statement. These major reasons are saying, this is why my thesis statement is true, or this is why I believe my thesis statement is valid. So you have that idea, and then you include supporting information from your sources or personal examples or observations. And then you're going to either draft, include direct quotes, or you're going to offer summaries, or you're going to agree, disagree, and then explain yourself. So for all of these approaches, if you're going to summarize, offer a quote, agree or disagree, make sure that you offer an explanation, that you're saying why that quote, why that summary, why that idea that you're describing is important. And then you also talk about how that idea connects back to your thesis statement. So you do that for all your major reasons, and then you should have a conclusion. So in your conclusion, you basically review the major reasons that you covered in your essay, remind your reader what those major reasons were, and then remind your reader what your position is on the topic. The other approach you can take is a visual kind of outlining, and it's very similar as the linear outline. It's just that it looks different. So think of a visual outlining approach like a tree. So here on the base of the tree, you have your topic, the details about your topic, and your thesis statement. So this is kind of like the introduction in the linear outline. So this is where you just share like the topic and your thesis statement for your essay. Then think of these branches as those major reasons that you're talking about. So Roman numeral 2, Roman numeral 3, Roman numeral 4, and 5. And so these represent branches, if you're thinking of this as a tree. And then on the leaves, what you have in there are those specific details, those direct quotes, summaries, observations, personal experiences that speak to the major reasons that you're outlining in your discussion. And then keep in mind that as you're drafting your essay, these details, you want to connect them back to your thesis statement. So here I have an example of what the introduction should look like. And let's say I'm answering this question. So I'm not answering the question about what should our main concern be about technology. So here I changed it a little bit. So let's say the question that I'm answering from my essay is downloading music without permission theft. And here are 2 bullet points where I'm talking about how would I introduce this topic, what would my thesis statement be ultimately. And then one thing that I recommend that you do is after you do have a draft of your thesis statement, turn that thesis statement into a question. And what I mean by that is, let's say my thesis statement for this essay would be, downloading music for free is equal to stealing. I could turn this into a question by saying, how is downloading music for free equal to stealing? So if I keep this question in mind, then my answers to that question can help me draft my major reasons. I'm not going to pose this question in my essay, rather I'm going to use it to help me draft my essay. What I am going to include in my essay is my thesis statement, because I want to be as clear as possible with my reader. I don't want to have a question as my thesis statement. You want to be very clear in your essays, and I think using questions as thesis statements is very tricky because sometimes those questions are left unanswered, and you want to make sure that your reader understands that the position that you have in your essay is a solid one. And if you pose a question in your essay as a thesis statement, then that position tends to be weakened. So that's why I recommend that you have a thesis statement and you don't have a question serving as a thesis. The only time you're going to have a question is when you're using it to help you draft your essay. So here I have another example just so you can understand what I mean by turning your thesis statement into a question. So let's say this is the thesis statement draft that I have, and this one is about cell phone usage. So although cell phones have brought many advantages to our culture, they may have also impacted our attention spans. So how can I turn this statement into a question to help guide the reasons that you want to draft in your essay to make sure that your reader believes this statement? So basically I can turn this statement to a question by just saying, how have cell phones impacted our attention spans? So if you notice this question and the one in my previous slide turn the thesis statement into questions by starting off the question with the word how. So that might be a good start for you. You can either say how or why or what, but how I think is a good approach. So after you have your thesis statement, then what I would say, draft your thesis statement, then turn your thesis statement into a question, and that will help you start thinking about what major reasons you have. that will help you answer that question. So once you have these major reasons, those reasons will be your body paragraphs for your essay. So just to remind you, you have the option of drafting a linear outline or a visual outline. I will post this PowerPoint to Canvas so you can look at the specific examples that I have. I'm not going to go into specifics in this video because I wanted to introduce the two different approaches rather than looking at the specific details that I include in my examples. Okay, that's all I have to share with you. Let me know if you have any questions.